Hello, and thank you for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to talk about one of the principles of design. We're going to talk about emphasis or focal point. Coming right up. Thank you again for stopping by my channel. I'm Thayne Wheeler. I'm a photographer, filmmaker, artist, designer, and educator. So today we're going to talk about one of the principles of design, and that is focal point or emphasis. So what is the definition of focal point? Really simply, it means where you want your viewer to look. So, as an artist, a photographer, designer, filmmaker, whoever you might be, it is your job to guide the viewer through the visual project that you're working on, and to end up on an important aspect of that project. So, for example, like in a film, you might think of a ring that's very important to the story, and that is a critical element of the message. Or how about in photography? Maybe there's a product shoot going on, like lipstick. And so you have a model and the focus is on the lipstick. So you'd want that to be something very bright. You want them to see everything else, but in the end up on the lipstick. Or in art, it could be a painting of two individuals holding an apple. There's a story there. So it helps tie into the story. So let's talk about briefly 4 different ways that you could create a focal point. You could do so with contrast. You could do it with isolation, placement, color, or value. So let's start with contrast first. As you can see this example up here, everything is round and pretty much dark except for the star. We contrast it with value, in this case. We also are contrasting it by simply the shape and the size. Everything is larger and darker and round in comparison to the star. Let's take a look at isolation. I mean, it's pretty simple there. It's all by itself. In fact, I made it even slightly different by tilting it. It all has the same shape, but the focal point is away from the rest of the other objects. Let's take a look at placement. So placement, you can look at it in different ways. One, in actually where it's placed. In this case, if you look at it really closely, you'll see a grid up there. That's called the rule of thirds. And where those lines intersect are the hot points. And as you can see, I have this square over one of the hot points. So that's placement. Also, we have a bunch of other shapes that are all, in a sense, pointing to the square. So it kind of leads our eye. In fact, we oftentimes calling it a leading line, leads us to that focal point. Okay, and then the last one here is we have this very flat background. And if you look closely, it's a dark green and it's very desaturated. While the circle is very saturated, it's lighter and it's red. It's the opposite of green. So here are 4 different ways that you could create a focal point. And if you go back to the examples I was talking about earlier, you know, whether it's a ring or an apple or a product. Here are 4 different ways that you can lead the viewer's eye to the subject. You can have multiple focal points, but they cannot be all at the same level. You can't have 2 focal points that are equal because they kind of, in a sense, cancel each other out. They confuse the viewer where to look. Again, thank you for stopping by. Please follow my videos to learn more about the other principles of design. You have a great day.